So, in the last few hours, and this is breaking news, the jury was hung and a Maryland judge declared a mistrial in the Freddie Gray case. So what does this mean? Let's bring in Blaze contributor and former NYPD officer John Cardillo. John, good to see you. This is the first of 6 total officers. William Porter, the first one to be charged. 4 counts, jury deadlocked on every count, and we saw that protesters were already going into the street. They've already said though that they're going to announce a date for a retrial tomorrow. So maybe people shouldn't burn buildings down because this isn't an acquittal.
Well, it's not an acquittal, and they shouldn't burn buildings down because this is a ridiculously malicious prosecution that never should have happened. I mean, how dangerous is it to be tried for murder when somebody hits their head in a van miles away from where you are? It is so mind-bogglingly ridiculous that it makes the Duke LaCrosse case look somewhat innocent in comparison with what the DA knew. This is just... I'm blown away by the fact that Mosby isn't being called to task on this.
Well, so they're really they're going to take another run at this. I mean, they'll just get a new jury, right?
They will, but I don't see how. Number one, I don't see how they'll ever win. I think it'll be deadlocked again. They're going to be mistrials in all of these. I predicted it earlier on radio, and I'll stand by that. But how can these guys now be fairly tried in Baltimore? There isn't a person on the planet that is unaware of this case, and if a person is unaware of this case, they probably shouldn't be on a jury.
Or they're lying. They're lying liars, for
exactly,
sure.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, when I just look at, because it's basically going to be the same evidence that's going to be presented at every single one of these trials. So, if they're having such a difficulty with this first one, and as you said, this is a very aggressive prosecutor who really wants a conviction in this case, and for all of that effort to walk away with a deadlocked jury, because you knew that they threw everything that they had at this case,
oh, yeah.
I have a feeling that this is kind of going to be the outcome for the other 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. Look, you know, in a crime, Dana, to simplify it, you need act and intent. They don't really have an act. They didn't do anything that would lead to murder, and there was no intention. These cops didn't put him in the van saying, oh, I hope miles away a pothole is hit at just the right angle where he bangs his head into the wall and dies. It's an impossible... Any juror that would find this guy guilty didn't listen to the judge's instructions or has an agenda.
Yeah. And do we know anything about the jury, by the way? Do we know anything about the makeup or anything?
No, I was researching quite a bit this morning. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, because I would be interested in seeing exactly how that would be. Because I know with Ferguson, with the Mike Brown case, everybody wanted to know about the witnesses, the majority of which were black, and there were also, black members of the community also on the jury as well, and they still had the decision that they did. So Marilyn Mosby, so much controversy around her with this particular case too. What is going to be the outcome of this? Is the DOJ going to get involved if she's unable to close this deal?
No, I think it's too late for that. I mean, she almost preempted the DOJ by charging murder. So if the DOJ does get involved, it is going to look just notoriously... I mean, they certainly can, but if the DOJ gets involved after this, the optics of it, to coin Barack Obama's favorite word, the optics of it are going to be that it is just another bite at the apple, and that double jeopardy really doesn't apply to police officers. And I just don't see how they could.
Right.
Nothing was violated here. The guy was arrested and put in a van.
And, it amazes me because unlike this case is so much different because you have a female cop who's also being charged. Yep. You have black and white officers who are being charged. Do you think that has affected at least the tenor of some of the protests in this? Because I've just noticed that honestly, news of protests in Baltimore there haven't been any headlines since all of this. Is that because just people are waiting, or does that have more to do with maybe some of the racial identity of those being charged?
Oh, it certainly does. And the NAACP, I got to give credit where due. I mean, typically they're inflammatory, but on this one, they've really been out there in force, telling people calm down, don't riot. You raised something interesting about the jury. One thing that we do know is that the jury came back and said they were hopelessly deadlocked after they requested to review witness statements again. And those witnesses are almost to a person, African American. And so it looks like the witness statements are helping the police officers.
Right. And we're going to learn more about the jury as well. This case, we're going to be watching it. We're going to definitely see, just see what happens. We're going to see what happens tonight. Do you think there's going to be rioting?
I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Baltimore has been high crime as it is. The police are demoralized. And local community knows that no matter what they do, the mayor and the prosecutor are going to back them and not the police. So I'm not optimistic that it'll remain calm.
Yeah. John Cardillo with The Blaze. Always so good to see you. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Dana.